is introduced by the Europeans, which proved deadly to the natives.
Yep.
Slavery, which resulted in both death and deportation. Deliberate killing of Indians by the Spanish. And dropping birth rates, which are a common reflection of cultural stress. The Spanish used religion as a way of justifying capturing Indian slaves. Like the brothers said, the rise with the light. Because when they came over there, they were doing it. They were doing all that. Believe it or not, they were doing all that in the name of God. You know, and then they were forcing Caesar Borgia and everything on those tribes back then. You know, and basically they came with the Bible and everything. They came so-called came in the name of God, and we was heathens and savages that they had to get in order, so to speak. All right, now it said the Spanish used religion as a way of justifying capturing Indian slaves. In 1519, Catholic Bishop Juan de Quevedo declared that Indians were slaves by nature because some people were by nature inferior.
Yep.
Now what that devil said is right, but he just got it mixed up. He got it the other way around. When you I recall when you read in Genesis the 25th chapter, it tell you who was inferior, who was supposed to be the slave. It said the elder shall serve the younger. And when you go back in the scriptures, Esau was the elder. He came out first before Jacob, going back into Genesis the 25th chapter, which represents the so-called white man. At that time, they were under the guise of the Spaniards, or the Spanish at that time. So really, they were inferior to it. They were supposed to be our slaves by nature. And even still to this day, the so-called white man is really supposed to be our slavery. Even though everything right now is reversed, is upside down.
All right, so there's more?
Let me keep on? All right. It says, the Spanish slavers did not limit themselves to the Caribbean islands in what is now Latin America, but they were soon sailing along the coast of North America looking for additional wealth. In 1520, the Spanish explorer Pedro de Hurtado landed at Winyah Bay, South Carolina. He explored the area and exchanged the gifts with the Gwali. Then in order to make the voyage profitable, he captured 60 Gwali to be sold as slaves.
Right, so this is just, 60 here, 500 there, 1,000 here, 500 over there, and eventually all those were sent where? As slaves over to so-called Europe. All right, go ahead.
It says, the following year, 2 more Spanish slavers, Pedro de Cuello and Francisco Gordillo, sailed up the Atlantic coast of North America to what is now South Carolina.
All right, I'm going to read this quick precept real quick. This is Deuteronomy 28:58. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy power, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and of long continuance. Because when the Spaniards came over here, they gave you what? Blankets that were infected with smallpox. And you started catching all the diseases that the Spaniards had. And you started dying. Why? Because that was the Lord bringing those plagues upon you because of the wickedness that you were doing. It says, moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, then will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed, and you shall be left few in number, which that happened. Whereas you were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy power. So basically, the Lord brought these plagues upon you. And that was one of the things, besides slavery, besides going back and forth on slave ships, besides having a yoke upon you, besides not having enough to eat, besides having...